Dzień dobry, witam wszystkich bardzo serdecznie. A naszym dzisiejszym gościem jest bardzo specjalna osoba, Patrick Meinart z Niemiec. Hi Patrick, it's really nice to see you.
Hello there, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry. Oh, you can speak Polish.
No trochę umiem po polsku, ale nie za bardzo.
Okay, but we will discuss in English, okay?
Proszę.
Fantastic. But of course you understand everything in Polish.
Yeah, so most of the thing you are telling I will understand, sure.
Because we met in Warsaw about a year ago and you told me you have parents from Poland?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so my father is still living in Poland.
Okay, oh, fantastic. So, Patrick, how may I introduce you? Are you PT, coach, physiotherapist, scientist? How can I name you?
Yeah, okay. I think sports scientist would be the best. Unfortunately, I'm not working as a scientist, so I'm mostly working as a coach. But it's like for my academic background, it is a sports scientist. So this is why I would prefer this.
Okay, and you love using neurotraining. So can you tell me what's the difference between training with a regular approach and the brain-based perspective?
The difference is mainly that you focus with a brain-based perspective, you focus of everything what is going on in the nervous system, because strength is primarily given by the nervous system. So we know that we have something like so-called motor control, we have some muscular innervation. So if we do regular strength training, we always have to use our brain for this. And the perspective of the neurotraining is just that we focus on how do we gain strength by the nervous system and how can we improve our strength with focusing on what's going on in our brain and our peripheral nervous system.
So this approach is what, better than regular?
No, it's not.
Can I, for example, can I build more muscles or more strength?
Yeah, so the goal is for sure to build more muscles or more strength. It's not like a better approach. It's just a new perspective. So you're still doing your regular strength training, because if you want to build muscles, you have to move yourself. You have to do some kind of muscular contraction. But what we are focusing on is how to improve the regular strength training to make it more individual. You know, because everyone has sometimes some problems with gaining more strength when there is something like a plateau, when there's maybe something like acute pain, chronic pain, maybe if there is like a deficiency, muscular deficiency, if there's like something like during a weight shift, during the squat, if one muscle is stronger than the other, if you have some kind of disbalance. And this is like the best things to make something like the brain-based training more applicable and more useful to improve like the strength training you're already doing. So you're still doing the same, but there are like some few techniques you are applying to improve everything you're doing on a regular basis.
Okay, so why is the brain important for strength and mobility?
Yeah, so as I said before, focusing on strength, if we want to apply strength, we have first send a signal from the brain. So it's like here in the frontal lobe, it's called the motor cortex. And to be able to send a signal about contraction, we need some kind of sensory input. So if you not have a good sensory input, like for example, good proprioception, then you won't be able to work on your muscles appropriately. So there's something like you need first an optimal sensory stimulation. After that, you will be able to improve motor control, and more motor control means more strength. And there are like different kind of things you can apply to make it better, because there are a few things which give you more control of your motoric nervous system. So even your eyes can be useful to improve your strength.
And your tongue and your nose. And your
for example, yeah. So the tongue is a great example.
Yeah, fantastic.
So I think many people know that the tongue position is also related to your strength, because usually most of the strength athletes do a few things unconscious. Like,
Yeah.
for example, if you do like a heavy deadlift, you are grinding your teeth. So even here, your teeth position is responsible for more or less strength. And usually while doing like heavy resistance training, you push your tongue upward.
Yes.
Because pushing the tongue upward is the strongest position you can apply. You can just test it, and the next time you're doing like strength training, just hang your jaw loose or like try to press down your tongue, and then you will see that you have then you're less able to apply strength as you're used to.
Well, I use it all the time because when I do
Yeah.
my training, if I want to, make some 1 or 2 additional reps, I use my tongue, press it upwards, and right now I can do 1 or 2 reps more. It's fantastic.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's cool. And there's also something called like a neurexis. Neurexis means that there is a connection between your tongue, your diaphragm, and even your pelvis, because everything is like connected in the midline. This is something to do with your development on a cellular basis, that this neurexis is growing out. And this is why when we are applying strength, we should also like focus on strength, on the tongue and the diaphragm and even everything around the pelvis.
Well, that's really cool approach. So before you said about muscle disbalance, so this neuro approach is better for for improving my balance, muscle balance.
Yeah, for if you're having disbalance, because I have a lot of clients in the strength training field, and one of the most problems is like a disbalance between, for example, the left leg and the right leg, and the left arm and the right arm. So there's always this disbalance. In most of the people, they have problems solving it. Sometimes it is something quite easy. You can solve it just with unilateral strength training, just doing like, for example, lunges instead of squatting, or just doing a 1-arm military press and not like always the barbell press. So just skipping your tools. And sometimes the dysfunction is related to something different. For example, if we are pressing on one side, for example, you are doing like a kettlebell military press on the left side and a kettlebell military press on the right side. And you feel that there is like a disbalance. Maybe you're on the right side, you are stronger than on the left side. And you try to solve it with training and you don't get along. So you always have this disbalance. For example, if you want to do like a kettlebell military press on the right side, your left side of your body have to stabilize the weight. Mm-hmm. So you may be quite strong on your right shoulder, but if your left side, something like your core muscles on the left side are not able to stabilize, then you won't be able to press appropriately. So when it's about voluntary muscle contraction and reflexive muscle contraction, so we have right-sided press is the voluntary contraction, and the other side stabilization is the reflexive contraction. And reflexive muscle contraction is something what is mainly controlled in the brainstem. So if there is some kind of dysfunction in your brainstem, so something not going on quite well, then you maybe apply enough voluntary force, but not being able to apply enough stabilization force. So then you have to apply like regular strength training and also like, for example, a brain-based approach to improve not just the voluntary contraction, but also like reflexive stabilization.
It sounds really amazing because many trainers would just say, if you have a muscle disbalance, or for example, your left side is weaker than right side, just use dumbbells and the weaker side will get stronger.
Yeah, yes, sometimes it is, but everything has to do about how the brain adapts. So if your brain doesn't adapt, you won't improve with your strength training. And everyone of us know who's doing strength training or mobility work that there is sometimes a plateau in your training. And the goal of the brain-based perspective is also to break through this plateau and improve your training quality.
Okay, so you're saying that we should forget about everything we've learned? as a trainer?
No, no. You know, when it's about strength training, I'm quite old school. So I like different approaches from the 70s when Arnold Schwarzenegger started, or the 80s when there was something like the one set training from Arthur Jones, and also like Dorian Yates in the 90s with high volume training. So this is still applicable and useful. What I'm just talking about is to make the strength training a little bit more with an individual perspective. So how can you improve strength, not in a general way, but where are the individual boundaries? And there are a lot of tools you can use to make your brain work more efficient to improve strength and mobility. So it's more like a cherry topping on your cake.
Okay, so if you're a trainer, how can you benefit from training with a brain-based approach?
Yeah, so the most useful things is when you're a trainer, if you're working like with an everyday client, because most of the people you are training with, they have a lot of issues. They have like chronic pain, the disbalances. They have maybe spinal issues. So there are different kind of problems you might have. So the goal is to give all the personal trainers a new approach, which they can add on their daily work. So it's not something completely different. It's just an add-on. So they can apply all these techniques to make their work more efficient with their clients. And I think all of us have the goal to make our clients healthier, stronger, better, feeling better. And the tools and the techniques I'm giving are quite useful for this approach.
So this brain-based approach is just a new set of tools you can use.
Yeah, it's something like a paradigm shift. It's like something new, as you said, and like a new set of tools. It's like having a new perspective, but you're still doing regular strength training, because if you want to become stronger, you have to lift heavy. If you want to build muscles, you have to contract your muscles. But I'm giving like a toolbox of stuff you can do to make your work as a personal trainer more efficient with a higher success rate.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so can you shed some light about, let's shed some light on your workshops in June, because you'll have your workshop on Medical Trainer Summit. So why personal trainers should join and listen about your approach?
Mainly because it's something new, and I guess most personal trainers don't know about, and it is something what is quite useful in the general practice. So my goal as a trainer is, when I have like a new client, I want to give my client in the first lesson the best result, to have something like a wow moment, you know, so that during the first session I have with my client, there shall be something like an improvement in strength, improvement in ability, reduction of pain. And I try to give these tools with a brain-based perspective for this approach. So everyone who is interested being successful as a trainer during the first session should attend my workshops, and then I will give all the tools I'm using in my approach, how I deal with my clients.
Okay, so it sounds really interesting. So I hope to see. Well, I want to see you in June. Dziękujemy bardzo, Patryku. Dziękuję wszystkim za uwagę.
Nie ma za co. Też dziękuję.
Meinart, tak, trener z nowym podejściem, fantastycznym podejściem neurologicznym. Oczywiście zapraszam Was wszystkich serdecznie na Medical Training Summit w czerwcu, a Patryk będzie tam miał swój warsztat, prawda? Wiele godzin, prawda, Patryku?
Tak, dziękuję bardzo.
Rozumiem, że dziękuję po angielsku. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening. Do widzenia Państwu. Do zobaczenia.
Nie ma za co. Do widzenia.